Do you have the sniffles, Sarah?
It's just a little bit of allergies.
Here, you want my tissue? Here.
Oh, thank you.
You got it.
I'm ready for the video now.
Welcome back, everyone, to Studio Spaces. Here, I'm brought to you by the Studio 408 team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Snyder & Company Realtors in the beautiful Ann Arbor, Michigan. Once again, we are joined by the full team, and according to the chalk marks on the wall, this is quarantine week 5 or 6 for us, doing this remotely.
Holy smokes, Dan, thank you for bringing some levity in. It is something else in this time that we are in. So without belaboring the point, one of the things that we have bumped into with Studio Spaces is the ability to bring some information, a little bit of levity. We're trying to lean a little bit more on the levity, and so even prior to this recording, the 4 of us goofing around in a Zoom room is a sight to behold. I wish we had enough B-roll and time to process that B-roll for you, because we're nuts.
I'm sure it'll make it to the social media somewhere, Todd, if you have anything to do with it.
I have no doubt.
And it does feel like Brady Bunch, so I appreciate that entirely. So Sarah shared with us something that was pretty flipping awesome a little earlier this week. An area appraiser ran an informal poll about with agents in the Ann Arbor area about what are they seeing when it comes to buyers in this crisis marketplace that we're in right now. And I'm going to share actually some of what was thrown out in that email. There's a really nice graph on here, and I'll be happy to read through what we've got going on here so folks can see it. But at the top of this share, the question is, have any of your buyers altered their search parameters due to the pandemic? And it's very simple to see. That blue line is no, and it's over 70%. It's actually 71.15% to be perfectly accurate. And this is according to 52 respondents. So again, this is anecdotal, but is sort of representative of what we're actively seeing in the marketplace. Of those folks that have changed what it is that they're searching for in this marketplace, they've changed price ranges. They've may have decided that a home office is essential anymore. But the biggest thing here is that really nothing has changed. Like 70% of buyers in the marketplace have said, we're just going to hold fire right now until we can actually get into homes and start looking at properties directly. I thought it was an excellent piece of data, more anecdotal than not, but it runs true with what we're seeing in the marketplace. Correct, guys?
Yeah, I would really agree. Mm-hmm. And I also think that even though, again, yes, it's a small sample, our Ann Arbor area marketplace isn't very big. So to have 52 agents answer this, that's probably about half of the active realtors in our area. So I would say it probably is enough to get a sense of what our very local, Washtenaw County market buyer pool is thinking and doing right now. So I thought it was very interesting.
I would agree with that. Yep.
I would also say that based on the buyers who are looking, these are by and large going to be active buyers. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be people who are thinking maybe of a downsize or thinking maybe of upsizing. They're active buyers. That's what we're talking about, the ones that are on and looking seriously right now.
Absolutely. So we'll pop that photo, a link to that photo into the comment section here of the video that you're currently watching, so you can see more or spend more time staring at that bad boy. But the short story there is decent information about what we're seeing reflected in the marketplace after week 5 or 6, depending on the scratchings on the wall here of our stay-at-home in the state of Michigan. And so, pardon me, but one of the things that we have the ability to do right now, even though we are not as agents supposed to be out and about, we do have the ability to highlight properties that we currently have listed. And I think Sarah has a property that she wanted to highlight here. So Sarah, take it away.
Yeah, so this is going to be, I think, a hot property as soon as the I'm just going to share my screen here real quick. As soon as it's safe for us to go out and show properties again, buyers are going to be excited about this one. Hopefully you guys can see that. So this is a property at 46961 Marion Circle, and this is in the Northville Hills Golf Club community, which is a really popular location thanks to the wonderful golf club that residents can access. They have a pool, they have a community center, they have tennis courts, and a lot of great community activities. So this is an area that's going to be attractive to people maybe who are coming to the Northville area from out of state, and they want to make friends quickly this summer and have their kids maybe meet some other kids down by the pool. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. One of my favorite things about this property, besides the awesome master suite, is the finished basement, but it's got a large corner lot, and I wanted you to really appreciate how gorgeous their landscaping is. They've got all this privacy in the backyard, a lot of natural stone in their landscaping, and it's just a really pretty location. So I think people are going to enjoy that once they are able to see this property again. So I can happily put the information into this chat as well and set up a link. Obviously this video goes on for some time and I have all the information. And by the way, these sellers are being relocated. So this property has actually already been inspected, and it was maybe one of the cleanest home inspections I've ever seen. So if you've got a buyer who's interested, or you are a buyer who would like more details, this is something you want to run to as soon as we're allowed to show property again. A lot of great detail in this luxury home. So I know Jeffrey has something exciting to talk to us about as well. I'm going to stop sharing.
I do, and I am going to now go to my share, and I'm going to take you to a wonderful place called Belleville, Michigan. And so what you're going to see here from my screen is a quick photo tour of this beautiful historic home in Belleville, Michigan. Now, for those of you who aren't as familiar with this area, it's roughly about a 20-minute drive from Ann Arbor, and it's kind of, if you could say, maybe halfway between Ann Arbor and Detroit. It was a long time ago the summer home location for Henry Ford and for Charles Lindbergh. How about that for history? But it's really unique. Many people might call this a painted lady. It's that Victorian historic, but it's over 100 years old. And yes, I'm showing these pictures with some snow on the ground. The snow has disappeared for now, but you'll see as I scroll through these pictures, the original detail that is in this home is absolutely outstanding. They haven't, over the transition of various owners, they haven't hidden any of that. And some of the special things that you will see are in some of the sliding doors between the rooms. They're double wood sided, so you have an oak on one side and a mahogany on the other, which is really quite wonderful. Look at the detail on that fireplace. So this is one that's on the market right now. It's 4 bedrooms, and the other beautiful thing about this home is if you like downtown Belleville, it is roughly a block and a half from downtown Belleville. So you can walk out your door and be downtown in no time at all. And huge backyard. It's also got a detached 6-car garage. So for those of you who like to tinker, have a shop, or collect automobiles, there's plenty of room for it. So that's my quick detail on that. You can contact me or our office and get a little bit more information on this property, but I thought I would share that with all of you, and hopefully I'm getting back to the same group. Am I back to our meeting?
You're back. I love that house, and Belleville Lake is an all-sports lake. They have that neat strawberry festival in the summer that people really enjoy. So great listing, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
And one of the things that we were happy to bring you these listings that are on the market that you can see soon. And I know you're out there browsing online every day, dreaming about the houses that you're going to tour once it's safe to do so. And if you don't have a buyer's representative taking care of you, obviously with these particular listings, Jeffrey and I represent the seller, and we really believe it's important for buyer and seller, both sides of that transaction, to have proper representation. So I know that Dan would love to talk to you a little bit about buyer's representation and hopefully take you through some of these houses once it's safe to do so. And Dan, if you want to tell us a little bit about buyer representation, I don't know that everybody really knows what a buyer agent does.
Sure. So the biggest thing to point out as a buyer's representative is that the properties that you see listed are listed by a selling agent. Those selling agents are contractually obligated to act in their client's financial best interest. And as a buyer, that financial best interest for the seller is not always in the best financial interest of the purchaser. And that's really where having a buyer's agent can help come in once you get to contract. Can help a lot coming up to contract as well, making sure that you're prepared to make an offer on a home, that you've got your ducks in a row, especially as we were coming in earlier this year with limited inventory. It truly was, properties would come on the market for a day or two before the most prepared buyer, who was the best marketed to the sellers, picked up that home and went under contract. And as we're coming out of this, inventory is still very low. We haven't yet seen where that demand is going to be. But it's safe to say that if you come out of this prepared to make an offer, as soon as that property that you know is your future home comes on the market, you're going to be in a much more competitive position. And that's where a buyer's representative can help market you to the seller, help you be prepared, and help determine what's a fair price to offer for that property. Even on investment properties, prices, the asking price is not always what a fair market price would be for that property. So making sure you're informed and represented in your best interests coming to a transaction can be critical to helping make sure that you get through it and that you come out in the best financial position that you can.
That is excellent, excellent advice, Dan. And one of the things that I picked up in what you were talking about there is marketing the buyer to the seller and the listing agent. I think that is a great, I don't want to call it a turn of phrase because it's the wrong way to put it. It kind of cheapens what it is that you do. I think it is a great explanation of exactly where buyers and buyers agents need to be in a low inventory marketplace. Being able to take a qualified, well-prepared buyer and present them in a great light to the listing agent and the seller is all about marketing. And so I think that is a great phrase to use to describe exactly what it is that excellent buyers agents do for their buyers. I think that's excellent.
I totally agree. It's interesting. Yesterday, we were in on a call with the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services and Dr. Andrew Young from the National Association of Realtors. He's our chief economist, and he's a great speaker and really had a positive message to share with people in the real estate industry, as well as people who are probably going to be buying and selling this year, and how everything is being impacted right now. And one of the things that he said, and Todd, I think you heard this too, that I thought was just really great is, well, great in that the National Association of Realtors is really trying to advocate on behalf of buyers right now, because some of the larger banks, for example, Chase Bank, has just really tightened their criteria for lending, for mortgage lending in the marketplace right now. I think Chase's criteria is something like a 750 credit score or above, and they have to have 20%. They're a big player in our in the mortgage market, so this is a little bit startling when things were going really well for the mortgage industry previous to what's going on right now with the virus. So Andrew Young was, or excuse me, not Andrew Young, Lawrence Young was talking about how NAR is advocating for mortgage lenders to lower those restrictions a little bit again and just take a more balanced approach to looking at buyers in the marketplace. So we're going to keep our eye on that and keep informing our buyers right now as to what's going on with that. We're not mortgage lenders. We know some of the best mortgage lenders in the industry, though, and we're in contact with them on almost daily basis to know kind of what's going on with that, so that, like Dan said, we can bring our buyers into the market as soon as it's safe, and be ready to go and make sure that those pre-approval letters are still valid and the best that they can get in the market. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, for folks that have made it to this portion of the video, thank you very much for hanging out. You've bounced into, yet again, a Studio Spaces here with Studio 48 at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Snyder and Company. On the screen, at least the way I see the screen, is I've got Jeffrey Post right down here. I've got Sarah Maddock right over here. And I've got Dan right over there. Now, if we recorded this correctly, it looks like I waved at them in the correct fashion.
Should we high five?
We could try to high five.
Woo!
With our luck, we all went in opposite directions. So
even better.
Exactly. So with that, here on April 16th, the Studio Space is signing off. This is Studio 48 with Jeffrey Post, Sarah Maddock, Todd Waller, and Dan Carrillo. Thank you very much for hanging out. Be safe, stay home, and stay alive.